They knocked the new girl out cold. No warning, no mercy. Just 2 hits in the dark, and she dropped hard. The instructors laughed, called it a lesson, wrote it off as combat prep. To them, she was just another overcleared observer. No trident, no reputation, just a quiet face with a tucked-in badge and no one asking where she came from. But what they didn't know was that the girl they floored, Mira Hale, wasn't unconscious. She was a Navy SEAL and she was waiting for the moment to get back on her feet, step onto the mat, and end the fight in seconds. Before we show you the chokehold that wiped the smug off their faces, and the line she delivered that froze the whole gym, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, tap subscribe, and buckle in. Because this time, the new girl wasn't new. She was trained. The wind off the Pacific carried a steady weight. On the far edge of the naval installation, beyond the rusting cargo containers and razor wire, waves cracked against the seawall. Down on the combat deck, no one drifted. Lieutenant Commander Mira Hale stepped off the personnel truck without ceremony. No greetings. Boots on asphalt, duffel on her shoulder, tan uniform, no name patch, just a plain observer badge. Inside the truck, a Marine whispered, "Admin, probably audit control," his buddy said. Another clipboard officer. But she wasn't carrying a clipboard. Past the checkpoint, kettlebells slammed against concrete. Sparring mats reset in rapid rhythms. Near the supply annex, Sergeant Dawson leaned against crates. "That her?" Corporal Vance squinted. "Yep, Mira Hale. Behavioral placement from Joint Ops. No record in the system. Looks like a placeholder," Dawson muttered. Mira passed them without looking, but she noted everything. The gate guard who saluted too late, the mat spacing, the armory locks. Her name blinked on the operations board, Hale Observer Rotation. No fanfare. The close quarters response group gathered on the mat, Marines, Navy, contractors. No visible ranks, just numbers on vests. That's how Dawson ran his team. Real hierarchy earned on the mat. He tossed a pair of gloves at a recruit. 1-minute grapples. No taps. Take the legs or hold the top. Then he faced Mira. "You planning to type us to death?" He smirked. "Sergeant," she said calmly. "I plan to stay on my feet." Vance stepped forward. "Rank or weight class?" "Reality," Dawson said. "You want to lead, you survive the tumble." He motioned at Mira. "After you, ma'am." She stepped in. The mat was slick from the last round. She rolled her shoulders and dropped into stance. Vance moved fast, too fast. A single leg grab to destabilize her base. She countered, but his second move came dirty. An inside hook disguised as a slip. Her shoulder hit the mat hard. She rose immediately, no flinch, no complaint. By the third round, the whispers started. "She's not SEAL Command. She's admin with clearance tags. Looks like she's never deployed." Up on the terrace, the commandant scribbled on a clipboard. Her performance metrics updated, no context, just numbers. Dawson smirked. "Told you. She's a placement." But she had taken the fall on purpose. Logged it. Stored it. By evening, shadows stretched across Black Harbor. The mess hall buzzed under fluorescent lights. At the far table, Dawson held court like always. "You see her face when Vance dropped her?" he said loudly. "I've seen rookies fall better off an office chair." Vance stabbed his food. "She didn't even protest. Because she's here to write a memo." Someone laughed. "Good," Dawson said. "I'll give her something worth writing." He leaned forward. "Tonight, unofficial mat time. No cams after 2100. "And if she files?" Vance asked. "She won't. People like that fold quietly." Across the room, Mira sat alone, listening without looking. She finished nothing on her tray, stood, and walked out. In the comms room, she locked the door and activated the secure uplink. A Joint Ops handler appeared, slightly pixelated. "Progress. Predictable," Mira said. "Behavior matches the warning packet. Unofficial engagement confirmed for tonight." He asked, "Need protocol override?" "No," she said. "Let them run their test." Quiet pause. The kind where authority isn't spoken, just understood. The screen blinked out. Mira Hale turned away, unzipped the smaller pouch in her duffel, and pulled out her sparring wraps. Regulation grade, reinforced stitching, fingertips exposed. She wound them around her knuckles slowly, tight and even. No flare, just preparation. She unlaced her boots, retied them twice, then stood in front of the mirror. Her reflection looked steady, distant, focused. Her voice was barely a whisper. Let's see what physics feels like when it hits back. The gym after hours wasn't silent, just still. Every shift of weight, every scuff of a boot echoed like someone was waiting for it. A single row of ceiling lights buzzed, half the fixtures dead, casting a harsh, uneven glow. Lieutenant Commander Mira Hale stepped through the side entrance. No announcement, no hesitation. Duffel on her shoulder, gloves strapped tight. Sergeant Dawson and Corporal Vance stood near the far mat with two Delta instructors. Solid, grinning, cocky. One bounced on his heels. The other cracked his knuckles like he was trying to impress somebody. Vance smirked. Didn't think you'd show. I was curious, she said. How much you rely on uneven odds. Dawson chuckled. It's not about odds. It's about gravity. People like you forget that. He tossed her a sealed mouthguard. Wanna make this clean? She didn't take it. She stepped onto the mat. Rules of contact? She asked. Full body, Vance replied. No strikes above the collarbone. No blindside attacks. Of course, Dawson added with a smile. We're professionals. Mira nodded. Then proceed. The first exchanges were real. One Delta instructor moved in with a basic clinch and drag, testing her balance. She broke contact cleanly and countered with a wrist deflection. Nothing flashy. The second came harder, a shoulder check strong enough to drop most people under 150 pounds. She rolled with it, reset her footing. Dawson circled in. You've got balance. I'll give you that. Then came the cheap shot. Dawson lunged with a sharp left elbow, tight, fast, and definitely not part of the rules. Caught her temple. Her head snapped just enough. Vance followed immediately, shoving her from behind, his forearm clipping her jaw. She went down hard. No scream, no gasp, just the heavy thud of a body hitting the mat mid-motion. Her glove twitched. A boot scraped softly. Then she stilled. The men froze. She dropped too fast. One muttered. She breathing? Vance checked. Yeah, pulse steady. Dawson crouched beside her, inspecting her eyes. Out cold. Clean hit. Not clean, Vance snapped. That elbow wasn't part of it. Doesn't matter, Dawson said. She stepped in. She knew the risks. They dragged her off the mat and laid her on the medical cot. No med unit called. No report filed. Heat stress, one said. Slipped, said another. Overexertion. She didn't log training hours anyway. Dawson looked at her a long moment. This doesn't go anywhere. They nodded. None of them saw her fingers shift. No dramatic gasp. Just the faintest controlled breath. Her eyelids fluttered once. Then again. Mira Hale was waking up. The smell of vinyl and sweat hit first. Then the low hum of the old ceiling fan. It didn't cool anything, it just disguised silence. Mira opened her eyes. No panic. No confusion. Just light. Her body ached. Jaw tight, temple throbbing. But her breathing stayed steady. For seconds inhale. Hold. 6 seconds exhale. Pulse regulated in under 30. The room was empty. She sat up slowly, vision clear, limbs steady. She faced the mirror. A swollen bruise spread across her temple. A clean split on her lower lip. She didn't study the injuries, only the expression behind them. Calm, neutral, focused. Her mind replayed the sequence. Dawson's elbow, upward angle, cheap shot disguised as a slip. Vance's shove, perfect timing. A third man moving left while she fell. 3-point suppression. Classic coordinated takedown. She'd seen it in Fallujah, in Kandahar, but never from men calling themselves professionals. She flexed her jaw once. Pain flared, then dulled. Bruise, 3 days to yellow. Lip, healed by morning. Her resolve, immediate. She reached under the cot and pulled her overturned duffel closer. Inside, beneath spare gloves and uniform tees, was a folded patch, her real regulation ID. The one admin told her to remove for non-disruptive observation. She flipped it, her name stitched in black, and beneath it, the emblem most of these men had never seen in person. NavSpec War Group 2. A silver eagle over a cross trident. Not a symbol to flaunt, a symbol to carry. She clipped it behind her name tag, hidden unless someone stripped the layer back. Then she stood. No limp, no hesitation, just control. She walked once around the mat, recalibrating, not raging. At the exit, she whispered, "Guess we're done pretending." She stepped out into the night. This time, the gym wasn't empty. Dawson, Vance, and 2 Delta instructors stood on the mat, gloves half on, laughing at something not even funny. Another sat on the weight bench. The door opened. Lieutenant Commander Mira Hale entered. No bag, no backup, just a faint bruise turning yellow on her temple and stiffness in her left shoulder. She stopped at the edge of the mat. "You forgot to log the injury report," she said. The men turned. Dawson blinked, then grinned. "Didn't think you'd be standing this soon. I was never lying down." He stepped forward, pretending concern. "If you're here to file a grievance, there's a protocol." "This is the protocol." Her tone was calm, but something in the room shifted. Vance's smirk faltered. The Delta instructor flexed his hands. Mira stepped onto the mat. Balanced, centered, still. "I believe you said, continue where you left off." Her voice carried no anger, just precision. Dawson laughed once. "You serious?" "I'm operational," she replied. "Rules of contact. Same as before. Except this time you follow them." A long silence. Then Dawson nodded, tossed aside his towel, raised his guard, and stepped in. Confident, still underestimating. Her first movement was defensive. Clean redirection. She stepped inside his right swing, caught the arm with a wrist twist, and guided it past her hip. Classic BUD/S counter. He reset, coming in heavier, and Mira Hale was ready. A lunge grab combo meant to overwhelm. Mira Hale ducked under the forward weight, pivoted on her heel, and struck upward, one open palm driving into the ridge of Sergeant Dawson's clavicle. A thud. Not loud, just final. Dawson dropped to his knees. He wheezed. His right arm refused to lift. His nervous system hadn't broken, just shut off. "Still think physics is on your side?" she asked quietly. Corporal Vance stepped in next. Aggressive, angry. Mira shifted her footing. Evade. Inside turn. Trap. Downward sweep. His feet lifted just enough before he slammed onto the mat. Flat, pinned, breath shallow. The 3rd Delta instructor didn't move. Neither did the 4th. Mira stood over them, calm, controlled. "This was your demonstration," she said. "Let's make sure everyone learns from it." Silence thick enough to bruise. Dawson pushed himself upright halfway. He rolled his left shoulder, trying to shake out the numbness. His right arm dangled, but pride worked where pain couldn't. "You had your turn," he muttered. "Now I take mine." Mira didn't answer. She simply reset her stance. Weight forward, knees loose, back heel planted. No showmanship, just readiness. Dawson lunged, wild and fast. Exactly what instructors warn recruits never to do. His weight collapsed onto his lead leg, arms wide for a grappling clinch. Mira waited until the final half-second. Then everything happened at once. She sidestepped, redirected his momentum with her forearm across his neck, pivoted behind him before his foot could plant. Her right arm locked deep across his throat, palm to bicep, elbow tucked. Perfect rear naked choke. Bloodline controlled. Windpipe untouched. 3 seconds. 4. He staggered. 5. His knees buckled. She eased him to the mat. Not gently, not cruelly, just precise. His head touched the floor with a muted thump. His body slackened. 9 seconds. Over. The room froze. Only the old gym wall timer ticked, resetting like it had witnessed everything. In the corner, a trainee, unnoticed until now, lowered his phone. The safety record cam had caught everything. His eyes were wide. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Everyone knew what they had just witnessed. Vance sat up at the edge of the mat, chest rising hard. The third instructor stayed pressed against the wall. Mira looked at them, then at the only one still standing. "You still standing?" she asked. Not threatening, just a challenge. He shook his head. "Not anymore." "Good." She walked to the equipment rack, picked up her gloves, unstrapped them deliberately. No anger, no display, just method. As she reached the door, the trainee whispered, hands shaking near the emergency injury form. "Do we file the report?" She didn't turn. "File your own injury reports," she said. Then she was gone. No victory, no gloating, only silence, and the slow realization of three men who had underestimated someone with nothing to prove. Petty Officer Second Class Martinez, the trainee, stood frozen. His phone was still warm in his hand. The footage was paused on the final frame. Dawson collapsed, Mira walking away. He replayed the choke sequence 3 times. 9 seconds, start to finish. Advanced combat school technique, not something seen in admin rotations. He looked at Vance, at the third instructor, at Dawson rubbing his throat. None of them looked at each other. Martinez uploaded the clip to the training safety server. No password, no restrictions. Standard protocol for instructor-involved injuries. By 0200 hours, the file had 4 views. By 0430, 12. By 0600, the commandant's office had flagged it. By 0700, it had reached command. It wasn't leaked. It didn't need to be. Inside the admin annex, the commandant replayed the video twice, once in silence, once with audio. He didn't react to the strikes. He only paused at one line. "File your own injury reports." By 0730, a summons had been issued. The hearing. In the pre-deployment briefing room, Lieutenant Commander Mira Hale sat straight-backed, uniform pressed, left shoulder still healing beneath fatigues, hands flat on the table. No legal counsel, no advisor, just her and the 3 officers before her, Captain Sloan, Facility Director, Commander Isley, Operations Review, a JAG liaison recorder visible on the table. "We've reviewed the footage," Sloan said. "All of it." Mira remained silent. "You engaged in physical combat with 3 instructors outside scheduled operations," Isley said. "Care to explain?" "They initiated contact the previous night. Unrecorded. Off the books," Mira replied. "I responded under oversight and within regulation." Sloan raised an eyebrow. "You consider a chokehold regulatory?" "I consider silence more dangerous," she said. "Especially after a concussion-level strike to the temple." The JAG liaison leaned forward. "Do you have documentation of the prior incident?" Mira slid a folder across the table. Time-stamped photos of her injuries, taken by a facility medic. Swelling, split lip, logged, not formally reported. Attached was the injury waiver Dawson failed to file. The instructor-initiated contact line left blank. "This is Dawson's 3rd incident in 18 months, the liaison said quietly. 2 prior cases were flagged. Both complainants transferred out. He stayed. Sloan stiffened. "You could have forced a court-martial," Sloan said. Mira met his eyes. "I wasn't interested in headlines. I was interested in standards." Silence. Then one sharp tap of the commandant's knuckle on the desk. "Effective immediately. Sergeant Dawson and Corporal Vance are suspended pending administrative separation. Instructor status revoked. Third party reassigned." He turned to Mira. "And you, Commander? Request reassignment to operational training oversight." "No commendation?" Isley asked. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for standards." She left before praise could follow. No one stopped her. The sun dipped over Black Harbor. Most of the facility was quiet. On the western training field, Mira stood alone, breathing steady, arm extended in a drill. Her bruises faintly marked her temple, but her stance didn't waver. Footsteps approached. A young recruit paused 10 feet back. Ma'am? He asked. She lowered her hand slightly. We didn't know who you were, he said. That's not the point, she replied. Then what is? She turned toward him, steady, not stern. The point is, now you do. He nodded, saluted, and walked away. Two recruits jogging nearby slowed, glancing at her with quiet respect. Earned, not instructed. Mira turned back to the ocean, her feet planted, her shadow no longer alone. Silence, no longer dismissal, but recognition. If someone knocked you out just to prove they were tougher, would you strike back immediately? Or wait for the moment where discipline exposes everything? And tell me, is real control harder to master than raw strength? Drop your answers in the comments. Tap the like button, hit subscribe, and make sure the bell is on so you never miss a new mission. Your next video is already on screen. Go watch it. We'll see you tomorrow.